What's going on, fishing friends? Welcome back to the channel. It is that time of year. It's, we're getting into the heart of fall here, and one bait I definitely enjoy throwing in the fall is a lipless crankbait. It doesn't discriminate against species. It's great from anything from large, small, spot, any bass, even the white bass and the rock bass, some of our forgotten species that don't really get highlighted enough, to the saugeye, the walleye, big sauger, a whole assortment of game fish. A lot of the game fish this year are keyed in on bait. They're gonna really be keyed in on bait fish, whether it's shad or perch or whatever it is in your particular area. When I got down to the big river today, I kind of got out of my car and just walked around for a little bit, and it was super windy. It was still in the mid 40s this morning, even though it got up to 80 degrees today. And I could see the disturbances in the water where, bigger predator fish were coming up and running through schools and eating bait fish. So, I'm like directly across from a windblown point, so I was like, man, I gotta see if I can get some footage filmed throwing the old lipless around. And luckily we had a fish decide to engage that isn't really all that commonplace in the river system that I fish a lot, and that was a pretty decent largemouth. Now, unfortunately, I don't know the anatomy that well to know what my hook punctured to cause this fish to bleed like it did, but I've had this instance happen before, and I refer to it in the footage. But hopefully we got that fish back in the water in time to save its life and carry on, because once those fish start getting in the couple pound range and they start getting around 18 or 19 inches, they got some years to them. They defied nature all that time to get that big, and I don't want it to be me being late to the party on a hook set while I'm yo-yoing a lipless bait to cause that fish's life. But with that being said, some of the lipless baits that I like to throw, I'll start small and work my way up, is obviously the 1/8 ounce tiny trap is a great one. Gets you your favorite spinning rod, as long as it's got some sort of slightly parabolic tip, so you're not just yoking treble hooks out of their mouth. And these are really a fun bait when you got pressured fish and you have to downsize in order to get bites. 8-10 pound fluorocarbon or mono if you don't like fluorocarbon. And this can be really fun this time of year. This is the Bill Lewis tiny trap. I'm pretty sure the other people that make some of these lipless baits do offer one that small also. And here's a good one that's very affordable, and that's the Cotton Cordell lipless. I can't remember the exact name, but this is also a lipless bait that's typical BBs in the rattle chamber. I believe this one is the 1/4 ounce right here in baby bass, as you can see. It's a good one. And then obviously another rattle trap, but this is the big one, the 1/2 ounce. It's got that signature sound, some nice long shank, real sharp trocars on there. And then me personally, I've had more luck with this size and brand right here, and that's the Rapala. What do they call these? The I can't remember. Scatter wrap, no. Rattlin wrap, that's it. But I've got some big fish on this exact bait right here. This is a 1/2 ounce bait, and the one I was throwing today is actually this exact bait but in bone. So I was trying to match that hatch as best as I could. But yeah, you know, a couple retrieves you can do. You can just cast it out, chuck and wind if you're just getting into throwing, you know, a lipless bait. One that works good for me in the summer is a burn and pause, and burn and pause, so it'll come through the water column and track and then sink, kind of like a dying bait fish that's trying to evade capture. That works real good if you're fishing smallmouth. And the one that gets the biggest bites for me is the yo-yo, and that's when you just cast it out and lift your rod tip up, but still don't lift it up too high that you don't have anywhere to go to set the hook. That's why I like to keep my rod as close to, you know, that between 2 and 3 o'clock as I can, and then that still gives me from about there till about 9 to set the hook, you know what I'm saying? But just, you know, nice rod tip, lift, and then reel up your slack. Rod tip, lift, reel up your slack. It's a nice parabolic rod or a glass rod or composite, something to throw treble hooked baits that you're not going to just rip hooks out of their mouth. But with that being said, I just wanted to, you know, cover some of my favorite lipless crankbaits with you guys, and also set up this clip of this fish catch footage. So enjoy. Let's keep our fingers crossed and, you know, pray to the Lord that that fish carried on with his life. And we'll be right back after this. Oh ho ho ho! Wow! Smoked it! It's a largemouth! Holy crap! That is a largemouth! Smoked it! Oh my goodness! Wow! Look at that, you guys! A friggin' largemouth! Holy moly, I gotta get the pliers out. This fish is bleeding. I am sorry, buddy. Hold on, bud. Hold on, bud. Hold on, buddy. Oh, man. Look at that, bud. Look at that. The Lord is with you, buddy. Hold on, bud. I know, I know. I know, buddy. Hold on, bud. Come on. Go on, bud. I probably should have ran some water through his gills real quick. Oh man, the Lord was with that fish. You know, them hooks must have hit something in the gills. I can't stand when that happens. Whew. Makes my heart hurt. Wow, that was a good fish. That was pushing 2.5, 3. Yo in the dang. Rapala lipless bait, and I was just thinking, man, I have not got a real good lipless fish at all this year. Woo! Wow, largemouth in the canal, man. You know, one thing David Dudley said when we're talking about Ned rig fish, because so many of the Ned rig fish swallow hooks. I was a little late on the hook set. I thought I was hung up because I'm so used to getting hung up right here, especially yo-yo and a lipless bait. So I was late to the party, and I might have punctured a gill plate, not a gill plate, a gill, like the actual gill itself, and I'm pretty sure all the blood is running through those. That's why they're red. I could be wrong, but if there's bass in schools in here, we are in luck. But to get back to what I was saying, once those fish hit the water, we don't know if they live or die, and I really hope I was punctual enough for that fish to live, and that I just nicked something that caused him to bleed like that, because that fish had some weight and some years to him. And I hope it wasn't my negative, not negative for lack of a better word, but being late to the hook set party that caused that fish's life. That's really gonna bother me. It happened to me last spring. I don't remember what I was fishing, but it was something back there. I think it was a open hook swim bait. And some reason I hooked him like that. Fish went to turn my bait over, because that's what these fish do. They'll go to spin it in their mouth so that dorsal fin is down so they can swallow it. And when he spinned it, that's when I hooked him, and it hooked him in like the bottom, like under the tongue, and this fish was bleeding and bleeding like that one was, and I just couldn't understand what I had hit. So I talked to a fish biologist guy that's worked in the, you know, in the conservation department of wildlife out in Colorado, and he was like telling me about the anatomy, and that there's something right by the tongue that we can hit that'll cause him to bleed like that. And it wasn't real life-threatening, but we just don't know once they go back in the water, which that's the good part of all that talk, is back in the water, is I just hope they live, because that fish was long on some years. He was probably 6 or 7 year old fish, and there's not too many largemouth and or spots. That was a largemouth that live in the canal, or if they are, they're just hard to catch. So that was pretty awesome. Alright guys, so like I said, you know, we got water temps cooling off. A lipless bait can really mimic the type of activity you're getting out of your forage based fish right now, because as the water's cooling, these fish are going to tighten up on their, you know, their movement. They're not going to be as lifelike as the water temperature goes down. So a lipless can mimic the activity of your forage based fish in your area very well this time of year. So, you know, try those different retrieves, try the different weights and sizes of baits, and I'm sure a lipless can pay off for you this time of year. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Ring that notification bell so you know when I upload a new episode, and we will see you on the next one. This is Bass Fishing Brian, out for now.